Hey,
We are Tale of Two Dead Girls.
I'm Michaela,
And I'm Kayla.
and this is episode 7. Theme of the episode this week is killers with our zodiac sign.
Yes. We got this idea because our friend has been posting on Twitter. Well, she was posting on Twitter about like her zodiac, and then or like her what is it, sun sign? I don't know, like the
It's her
main
sun
one.
sign. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's like, these are all the killers that have this sign or whatever, and I was like,
Oh,
you know
she was
what?
like talking about like Beyonce and like all the people
Oh.
that have it. Yeah, that's the tweet.
Okay, yeah, not killers. What was it? Beyonce? Wait,
Yeah, it was
I'm
like
confused.
she was like, Virgos are the shit. Like, these are the
Oh.
people that are Virgos that are the shit. End of story.
Okay, yeah, something like that. And so I was like, whoa, we should do like serial killers with our zodiac sign.
Yes. It was like actually really hard for me to choose. There's kind of like several killers with my zodiac sign.
Yeah, same here. Did you have like a specific website that like you went to find one?
No. I literally just searched like serial killers with my zodiac sign, and then like I went to like several websites. Like I picked like 5 things before I settled on one. There was one that I really wanted to do. I was just telling Kayla this before we started recording, but like I was going to do a different story, but there was so many layers and like messages that I wanted to share. Like it kind of got like, I don't know, political in a way. And so I just wanted to like make sure to give that like time and the attention that it deserves, you know?
The attention that it deserves.
Yeah, I've been like training at work, so this week for a different thing. So I've just been busier. So I needed to do something that was like more straightforward, less layers.
Less layers.
Yeah, less layers. Not like Shrek, the opposite of Shrek.
Literally, anytime someone says layers, I think of Shrek and an onion, and he's like, or something about an
ogres
ogre.
Are like onions.
They have layers or whatever.
We love Shrek. Shrek is literally a golden time in our generation.
I really love Shrek.
Me too. What a great movie. What a wholesome family movie.
Yeah, definitely.
If you guys, somebody was just messaging me about this, so I posted today on our Instagram, like, what's your favorite serial killer? Like, what serial killer interests you the most, basically? And of course, we get like the top ones, you know, like Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy.
But they're not bad.
Yeah, of course. Like, but I would really love if you guys would go outside the box sometimes. But we appreciate their responses anyways.
Yeah.
But somebody was like messages me about like they haven't heard of Ed Kemper before, so I told them to watch the show Mindhunter on Netflix. I'm not sure if I've talked about that on here yet, but they like,
I think so.
Yeah, they like something similar. Maybe we talked about it.
Criminal Minds? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. This like Mindhunter is like a Netflix original, and it's basically about how they formed what Criminal Minds is in a way. It's not like connected to Criminal Minds, but it's like them forming the behavioral analysis situation and like interviewing Ed Kemper. And Ed Kemper was like extremely intelligent. So it's just like really interesting. And then also they were like asking me, have you heard of Gypsy Rose Blanchard? And I'm like, of course.
Wow.
Yeah. And they hadn't seen Mommy Dead and Dearest. So if you guys haven't seen that, you should watch that because you actually get to hear her like talk in prison. So it's pretty interesting.
Crazy.
Yeah. She like is so normal in that. It's insane to me, but I don't know. I have mixed feelings on Gypsy Rose Blanchard. If you want to hear about that, let us know. But I know that's like super popular. So I try to stay away from like that. But let us know, I guess. Your wish is my command. I'm going first this week. Should I just jump into it?
Yeah, why not?
All right.
Let's do this.
Awesome. So my story is about the sex slave murders. And the main person, well, it's about like a couple, and my zodiac sign is Libra, and my boyfriend's zodiac sign is Cancer. And this couple is the female's a Libra and the boy's a Cancer.
What? That's so crazy.
And I didn't even realize that until like halfway through when I was like writing his birthday. I was like, are you kidding me? But anyways,
Wow.
it's about Charlene Williams. Eventually, her last name is Gallego. She was born on October 10th, 1962. My birthday is October 8th, so side note. But
Close.
I know, super close. Her mother, Mercedes, spent most of her days with her husband. They traveled a lot because her husband, Charles, was the vice president of a supermarket chain. I couldn't find which
Wow.
supermarket chain, but I'd love to know. He did a lot of business in different areas, so they just like kind of traveled around. She was his wingman. Charlene had a hard time passing classes in school, and she was known to be pretty shy and kept to herself. She had good attendance, though. And from what I remember, like from schools, kids with good attendance always get like the best shit. Like they always
And
get like
awards.
yeah, they get like the best awards, the best prizes. They're like, "Oh, you came to school on time for 365 days. Here's $50." And I'm like, "What?"
I
Yes.
remember our like awards or certificates were like, here you get to have lunch with the principal.
Oh my
And that was
god.
like the coolest thing. Or
People
like
love that.
you'd get to eat at Rainforest Cafe. You get like certificates to Rainforest Cafe. That was like a huge thing over here because of like Disneyland, and that's what they had
Yeah.
in Disney.
I
But now
remember
they
the
don't.
first time they got rid of it.
Yeah, they got rid of it. They got rid of
What in the
ESPN
fresh
Zone.
hell?
They got rid of the AMC theater at downtown Disney. Like they got rid of like a lot of
What?
things. Yeah, because they're starting to build more hotels in downtown Disney. It's bullshit.
So stupid.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Honestly, I love Rainforest Cafe. I remember the first time I went there, I was like captivated. I was like, this is the coolest thing. I didn't go to the one in Disney first. I went to this one in Arizona, and it was like so intricate and cool, and I
Really?
loved it.
I always thought that Rainforest Cafe was just a Disney thing because I've never seen it anywhere else. But I met what's that guy's name? He was like a popular scene kid online. Oh God, what's his name?
Alex something?
No. He was like on YouTube. Damien
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Damien. Oh God, he's like the cute kid that like everybody knew
It
and
was like
liked.
black hair and like bright blue eyes.
No, it's not that guy. He had brown
Okay.
hair, and I think he
Did
had blue
he?
eyes. Damien, Dame.
What a normie.
Fuck, it's gonna bug me. Okay, so if I randomly blurt out a name, it's because I remember his name. I also met Brian Stars there because I
Oh
was
my
friends with
god.
someone who like knew him, and I was like, "Whoa, this dude's a fucking weirdo." I mean, no offense to anybody who likes Brian Stars. I'm just saying he was a little awkward, and it made
That
me
was
feel
years
weird.
ago. Who knows? Maybe he's
It was
grown.
it was so long ago, like so long ago. D Fizzy, Damon
Deep
Fizzy.
Fizzy? I've never heard of
Yes,
that.
that and I had like the biggest crush on him, and I complimented his plugs, and he was like, "Oh, thanks."
Nice plugs. Those are super
Yeah,
seen of you, boy.
they're Pokeballs.
The like Rainforest Cafe that I went to, it was like in this mall, and like across from it was like a reptile handling area. Like you could like pay money and like hold reptiles.
That's crazy.
Like I held a snake and I was so scared, but I did it. I was like 9 years old. I don't know.
That's insane.
Anyways, back to
Sorry.
Charlene, I guess. No, we both went off on a tangent. It happens. So she had super good attendance in her school, but she sucked at school. Her mom, Mercedes, got into a car accident and she got injured like super bad. So Charlene basically had to take over her mother's place and do her duties and go on business trips with her father, which honestly, it sounds freaking weird if you ask me, but
Yeah.
whatever. Her father's clients always thought she was well-spoken and super smart, even when she was a young child. I found this report from the Department of Psychology at Radford University, and I'll reference several things in this story from that. I won't like mention them again, but some of the details that I got are from that. And in that, it says that Charlene had an IQ of 160, which is insane. And I looked it up, like, what is an IQ of 160, right? And Albert Einstein and Stephen Hawking had an IQ of 160.
Wow.
I'm like, this girl's a genius. The way I found her, like when I was searching through zodiac things, is like I was looking through IQs, and then she was the very top one. And I noticed her birthday, and I was like, she's a fucking Libra. And so I switched it up real quick, and I was like, I want her.
Yes. Oh wait, you're doing a girl, a female.
Well, it's a team, so it's like her, and then she also will do it with somebody else.
Whoa! So this is like Killer Kids.
No, this is just like her in the beginning stages, becoming a killer.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I thought it was like a teenage serial killer. I was like, fuck yes, I want to hear about this.
We're like just at the beginning, like she's still like in her prime, and she's about to go downhill. Like in the next sentence, she's going around town. But so she's super smart, IQ of 160, but she throws it all away. She started using narcotics at the age of 12. And by the time Charlene was in high school, she was known as the slut, which is literally just a made-up word that we shouldn't use in a negative way. But
back then, it was a thing.
Yeah, it was, like, important, and, like, people didn't... Yeah. But also, people, like, were scared of her. Not scared of her, but, like, judged her and, like, thought she was, like, really slutty because she dated a black man, and in the 50s, you know, that was, like...
Oh, yeah.
Unheard of, or you're not supposed to do that, but she didn't care. She's like, whatever, I'm living my life out here.
Wouldn't people like get like they'd get like bullied or like they'd be harmed for like having like
interracial
like relationships?
Yeah, totally. And like honestly, every single story that I've read, like murder story that's in the past, every time someone's like slept with someone who's black and they're a white woman, it's definitely mentioned. It's like,
so weird.
Get over it. Come on. It just bothers me. I thought about like just leaving that out, but it just like shows like the world was out to.
Yeah, no, I think those things are very important to talk about, you know, because it was like a time where that was like super not okay, like to people.
Exactly.
And we need to remember how shitty history was. I mean, not shitty, I mean, you know, with some things.
Yeah. History is still, I mean, present day is still shitty, but like honestly, the progress we've made has been very slow and very minimal, but I think you're right. It's still important to like reflect on the way that it was, so we never get back to that place again. But yeah, so she was a little wild child, and she ended up marrying a young, wealthy man. But side note, he's a heroin addict.
Wait, wow, interesting.
I couldn't find his name. Like I searched everywhere for it, but everything is just like Charlene's husband.
Maybe he didn't exist.
Maybe, or maybe he's just like, please don't let me exist. Like changes his name and disappears like into the shadows. He's like, bye.
That's scary.
I know. But he reported that she was obsessed with having sex with other women, and throughout her life, she was known to be like a queer woman, specifically bisexual. He also claimed that she had begged him to have a threesome with her and a sex worker, and she was super into drugs at that time. So she's like drugged out, you know, making crazy choices. But she supposedly like stopped caring about how she looked at all. She was just like strung out. And Charlene's parents butted into their relationship all the time just to tell her that like she didn't like him. They didn't like what she was doing. And eventually her husband was just like, I'm sick of this. And they got a divorce. So she moved on to the next, and she started dating this mama's boy who was in the military, and they got married, but that ended pretty quickly. And then next, she hopped over to a married man who she slept with for a while before he was like, nah, I'm married, gotta go. And then she tried to kill herself because she was so like lost, and she ended up surviving. Shit. And then in 1977, she met Gerald Gallego. So I'll tell you guys a bit about Gerald Gallego because he's the other half of the sex slave murders. So he was born on
That's
July.
such an interesting name.
Yeah, it's
like for the title, you know?
Yeah.
Like what they call themselves or what they were called.
For sure. It's like there's reasons for it. It's like pretty self-explanatory, I guess, like when the details come out, but it's like still a pretty like I'd say 70s AF name for something like the sex slave murders. I don't know. But
Yeah.
he was born on July 17 in 1946. He had a rough start from the very beginning. His mother had a lot of partners who badly abused her. She became a sex worker, and some of her clients started to abuse Gerald. She often let him be hungry and dirty. He was a super needy child who just begged for any type of attention, like physical affection, hugs, like anything. His biological father was not in his life at all. And the only thing his biological father was known for was killing 2 police officers during an escape from prison. And then he ended up being the first man to be executed in the Mississippi gas chamber. So,
oh my God.
A real star.
Wait, I don't remember that.
Yeah, I don't know, they didn't mention his name either, but yeah, that's his dad. So he didn't find that out though, like at the beginning of his life. He found that out like way later in his life, and maybe that like influenced him. I don't know, but I don't know why he would care. It's not really his dad, but whatever. So Gerald just went down the wrong path. He had his first felony arrest when he was 10 years old, because he had robbed his neighbor's house. Before he was 12, he had 5 arrests for burglary, 2 arrests for running away, 1 for malicious acts, and 1 for vandalism. When he was 12, he was guilty of lewd and lascivious acts, or I specifically looked up this word. It's I don't even know. Lascivious acts with a 6-year-old girl. My mom always said it wrong. So then like when I was reading it, I was like, I was taught this word wrong. So now I have to unlearn it. But anyways, he did that with a 6-year-old girl, which is fucking awful. They sent him to a youth authority facility for that. And then when he was 16, he was arrested again for armed robbery. And then again for armed robbery when he was 23. And he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Almost 10 years later, when he was like 32 years old, he changed his name to Stephen Feel. That was like his, I don't know, secret name. He also had a super bad love life like Charlene, just kind of bounced between marriages. He was married several times and would get divorced with them as soon as they would run out of money. He had a daughter that he started sexually abusing.
Ew,
I know.
no.
It's so gross. It definitely gets worse, so brace yourself, guys. But he had a thing for rough sex, and I guess Charlene was attracted to that at first, so they had like a super gnarly sex life at the beginning. They like couldn't keep their hands off each other. And Charlene said that Gerald particularly loved to sodomize her, but later in court, she explained that like really deep down, she like really didn't like that. She like hated that because she was in pain when it would happen. And like, basically their relationship worked so well at first because Charlene is a submissive person. And submissive partners often indicate to the dominant partner what they enjoy. So the submissive partner still has some level of control while being out of control. Sexual submission is really like relies a lot on conversational power play. So that was their, you know, the way that they did it in their relationship. And remember how she was a slut supposedly in high school? People started to like hate her at her job because she was too flirtatious with all the male coworkers that were in charge or were like in a dominant position. I don't know if you guys remember this from a few episodes ago, but this lady was also a butcher. Like, WTF.
Oh, shit.
Who wants to be a butcher? Like, that is so gross.
Yeah.
But after a week of Charlene and Gerald being in a relationship together, so this has only been 1 week, they moved in together and they rented a house. He soon like took a 360 and the romance in their relationship just kind of like poof, went out the window.
That happens.
I know. She realized that basically he just wanted to get off and she was the way to that, so that's why she was around. But deep down, she loved when he would like take charge of her, and soon she began to like share in his illicit fantasies, like all the stuff that he wanted to do that he really shouldn't. A few months after they started dating, Gerald brought home a 16-year-old dancer, aka probably a sex worker, and they all had a threesome together, but Gerald would only let them touch him, but they weren't allowed to touch each other. And so,
Bullshit.
I know, so stupid. He went to work after all of that happened, and when he got back, he found Charlene in the bed with the girl, and he was so pissed off that he threw the girl out of the window, and he hit Charlene.
Oh my god.
Yeah. He just, like, had to have control.
Do you know if the window was open or closed? Like, did she, like, go and break the window? And
I mean, I'm guessing it was closed because, like, thrown out the window is, like, pretty intense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's some shit. That someone can literally throw someone out a window.
I know. Like, what if that's, first of all, he's strong. Second of all, what the hell, dude? Chill. Like,
yeah,
Brayden was just watching anger management, and he needs anger management. Stat.
I need to watch that.
It's pretty funny. I haven't really seen it before. I'm terrible at watching movies.
Is that... No, wait, anger management? Oh, never mind.
It has,
I was thinking of
Adam Sandler in it.
Oh, never mind. That's not what I was thinking about.
It's just about this guy who, like, keeps getting in, like, bad positions where it looks like he's, like, hitting women, but really it's, like, not really the case. And now he has to do, like, anger management with this, like, crazy guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, so after he threw that girl out the window, he refused to have sex with Charlene. He basically said, like, he couldn't have sex anymore. So that's when he decided to sodomize his 14-year-old daughter instead of her. And he brought her friend along as well. His daughter reported that he had been molesting her since she was 6 years old, which would make sense because
poor child.
That's like what he did when he was 12. He went after a 6-year-old, so it was just like a pattern.
Fucking dirtbag.
But the worst part is Charlene knew about it the whole time, and she didn't see anything wrong with that, like, happening. She was just like,
what the hell?
Whatevs, bro. Do your thing.
Damn, that little girl is doomed. That poor
I know.
thing.
I read somewhere that, like, her stepdad or something, like, found out and basically was like, bro, you gotta fucking stop. And I, like, threatened him and stuff. So, I mean, hopefully it didn't last forever, but that's, like, still doesn't take away at all what she went through, like, in any way. But Gerald had a real respectable career as a bartender. It was suspected by Charlene that he had been sleeping with random girls from the bar. So he came home from work one night and told her that he needed a pair of love slaves to help satisfy his sexual needs. And he asked Charlene if she could get them for him. So I guess he, like, took some time, talked her into it. People, like, theorized that it was for her to fulfill her own sexual tendencies for women, like, towards women, but at the same time, like, people are like, he was in control. She probably did it, like, because she had no choice. So their first attempt to get sex slaves was in September of 1978. So they've known each other for, like, less than a year. Two girls named Rhonda Scheffler, who was 17, and Kippy Vaught, who was 16, came up missing from a mall in Sacramento called the Sacramento County Club Plaza Shopping Center. I just thought I would include that in case, like, any of you guys live at these places. I thought that would just be, like, kind of cool and weird. I don't know.
I have family in Sacramento.
Really? I always think of Karen from My Favorite Murder because she lived, like, near Sacramento, and she always loves cases, like, around there. She's like, I know where that is. I've been there.
Yeah.
Charlene.
We love Karen.
I know. I love Karen and Georgia equally, but
yes,
like, they're just the fucking best. Like, I just love them.
If you don't listen to My Favorite Murder, go listen to them now.
Seriously, you will not be disappointed.
Right now, because not right now. You should finish listening to this, but, you know, after.
Yeah, listen to this and then binge My Favorite Murder until our next episode comes out. Win for everybody. So basically, Charlene was, like, the lure, the big shiny lure. She led them back to their van where they kidnapped them. Gerald tied the girls up and then used a handgun to threaten them. They drove about an hour away and Gerald raped the girls. I think that Charlene was involved in like mostly all the rapes. And then a few weeks after they murdered them, they basically just like hit them with tire irons and shot them in the back of the head. And then just like ditched them there. So then a few weeks later, they ran away to Reno, Nevada, and they're like, let's get married.
Wait, that's with the daughter?
No. That's with Charlene. Like, the daughter, I'm pretty sure, like, at this point, the daughter has already, like, that's when the stepdad was like, no. Like, you can't see her anymore.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that's, like, when this all started. But anyways, they ran away to Reno, and they got married, even though Gerald wasn't unmarried from his last wife, so it wasn't even legal. But the police were, like, trying to find who did it. They were canvassing the area around the mall, and somebody told them that they saw the two girls get into a red Firebird. So they were, like, focusing all of their attention there, but it turns out that was not what the car they had. They had a van.
Aww.
And then...
Who the fuck gave that wrong information, assholes?
I know, or maybe, like, there was two girls that looked like them getting in. I don't know. That's, like...
Maybe.
How do you mistake a red Firebird, though? I don't know. That's just weird.
Unless it's someone trying to cover.
Exactly, but I don't think so. They seem like pretty like into themselves. I doubt that. I don't know though. Maybe. Or maybe someone's just straight up dumb. Sorry if you hear this. But anyways, someone on a farm found both the girls' bodies in a meadow 20 miles southeast of Sacramento only 2 days after they went missing. So they're like they left, go to Reno. Like, the police find the bodies. After they get married, Charlene got pregnant, but she decided to have an abortion, so that was over before it started. And then a year later, in June of 1979, Brenda Judd, who was 14, and Sandra Colley, who was 13, were abducted from the Washoe County Fair in Reno. Charlene later revealed that she revealed that her and herself, Gerald and Charlene performed sexual acts on both the girls and then beat them to death with a hammer and a shovel.
Oh my god.
I know, and those were like the youngest of them all, and their remains weren't found for 20 years after.
Oh my god. Those families of those girls, they probably just let them go to the what was it, a fair?
Yeah, the fair.
And expecting to see them come home that night, and they never came home. That's fucking awful. That's literally a nightmare.
So fucked up. I think that later DNA tied them to the case, but they didn't find them for like 20 years. And then when they did, they were like,
that's so
we know
sad.
Who the F did it. But after that, Gerald went like off the deep end, basically. He purchased a .375 Magnum, which, for those who don't know, because I had no idea, it's a gun, not a condom. I don't know what a gun, like, .375, blah, blah, blah. I don't know. But he basically lost his job and started to gamble. He started taking his gun around with him everywhere, and Charlene was suspicious of how he was, like, getting all of his money. In April of 1980, they took two other girls from another Sacramento mall, so their thing was, like, taking people in pairs. Like, they wanted to take them in pairs. But these girls were named Stacey Ann Redican and Karen Chipman Twiggs. They weren't found until July, but when they were found, they saw evidence of sexual abuse, and they had been bludgeoned to death with a hammer.
God.
I know. They were both only 17, too. So a little bit older, but still so young. They were babies. And then at this point, Charlene conceived another baby with Gerald, which I don't think she had the baby. There was, like, nothing mentioned about her having the baby, but I don't think she did. But in June of 1980, so just a couple months later, they picked up a 21-year-old named Linda Teresa Aguilar. She was hitchhiking, and they claimed she was, like, a hippie chick, whatever that means. She was 4 months pregnant. They basically, like, took her. They bludgeoned her with a rock, buried her alive. They thought she was dead, but she wasn't. And they just, like, left her in a shallow grave to, like, die, basically.
And she died? She didn't, like, come out of the grave?
No, she definitely died.
Oh,
I know. It's so fucking sad. And then a month later, so that was in June, and now this is in July, they abducted another woman named Virginia Michael, who was a 34-year-old bartender. She worked at West Sacramento Tavern, and they took her from her work parking lot. She was raped and then strangled with a nylon fishing cord. And later they found the fishing line around her skeletal remains.
Oh my god.
They didn't find him till 3 months later, but that's like how they knew, I guess, who did it.
So she was a skeleton by 3 months later?
Yeah, I'm sure she wasn't like a full skeleton, but I'm sure she was like definitely decomposed, like severely.
Oh, that's crazy.
And then their last victims were Craig Miller, who was 22, and Mary Elizabeth Sowers, who was 21. They found the two leaving a fraternity party in November of 1980 and forced them into their car at gunpoint. They ordered Craig out of the car and then shot him 3 times in the head. They brought Mary back to their apartment where they raped her, and then on their way to the dump site where they were supposed to kill her, Gerald just couldn't help himself and he strangled her on the ride there. And then...
That's so sick. Like, bad. That's so fucking awful.
It's like, seriously, like, every article I read describes them as like a thrill killer. They just like love it. It's fun for them. It's like a turn on. It's exciting.
And they know how to not get caught. You know, until they probably do get caught.
Yep, they're about to get caught, but up until this point, they've literally killed 10 people. So it's like...
And how long has it been? Like, what was the
It's from
time span?
1978 to 1980. So 2 years they've killed 10 people that we know of.
Damn.
Like, they probably killed other people that we don't know of. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
So they basically got caught because somebody saw them taking Craig and Mary from the party, and they called in their license plate number. So from there, the police used their license plate information to track down and arrest Charlene and Gerald at a Western Union office. They were there getting money from Charlene's parents, or they like wired money to them. And basically, they both pleaded not guilty to the kidnapping and murder charges. And Charlene's attorney was able to convince all the prosecutors in several, because it was like between 3 states and a ton of counties. The prosecutor or the attorney convinced the prosecutors that she should testify against Gerald and get a plea deal because she was also a victim. So that way she would only be sentenced to 16 years and 8 months. And in 1993, she did testify against him. Gerald was found guilty and convicted of murdering Mary and Craig. He was sentenced to death in the gas chamber at San Quentin Prison, just like his father was sentenced to the gas chamber.
Wow.
A year later, they found him guilty of murder and aggravated kidnapping in the Karen Twiggs and the Stacey Redican case. And those are the second girls they got from them all, the 17-year-old ones, I think. And also, side note, since he was at San Quentin Prison, another podcast you guys should listen to is Ear Hustle. I freaking love that podcast, and it's basically made by the prisoners in San Quentin. I think I've mentioned it before, but seriously, listen to it. It's so good.
I don't think you have, because I probably would have checked that out. So I'm going to check that out now.
Yeah, it's like there's this guy named Earlon, and then I can't remember the other person's name, but one person is out of prison, and she like comes in and like facilitates the podcast. But it's like
that's crazy.
Super cute.
How they do that inside a prison.
Yeah, it's like very constructive, and like they basically talk about like how much has changed. Like a lot of them are gang affiliated, or they used to be, so they just talk about like what that was like and how they're like now, and like how that all works out. And
it's crazy.
And how like people have sex in prison, like with their partner, like and visiting and like stuff like that. It's pretty interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to listen to
10
that.
10 out of 10 would recommend Ear Hustle. Listen to it. Let us know what you think. But anyways, so they're both sentenced, and she gets the 16 years and 8 months. He gets life with like execution. He's supposed to be executed in the gas chamber.
Wait, why doesn't she get life, though? Even though she was a victim, she still fucking killed people.
It's because of a plea deal. Like, every time people get plea deals, they get off real nice and easy. It's, like, not fair at all.
By putting the blame on him when it was her doing too, I don't get it.
I know. It's just because they want to be able to, like, convict somebody and, like, get the conviction that they want. So they're like, this girl will make our case really strong against Gerald. So if we give her a shorter sentence. But that's still, like, really not fair. And I don't feel like that's giving the victims' families, like, justice.
Yeah, no, fuck that lady. I think she needed to be, you know, sentenced to death too.
I totally agree. But in July of 1997, so 17 years later, when she was 40 years old, Charlene completed her sentence and she was released back into the world. She learned about business, Icelandic literature, and psychology while she was in prison.
Icelandic literature? That's interesting.
I know. What a niche thing. She loves it. But she basically claims that she tried to save some of the girls and it didn't work. And she was also a victim. But I don't know. Like, there's one interview that I watched of her and she, like, doesn't want anybody to see her, like, identity. She's, like, crying and she's like, I dedicate 100% of my time to community service now and, like, stuff like that. So,
wow.
I don't know. Hopefully she's changed.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
Gerald didn't even get to be executed. He ended up dying of cancer while he was waiting for his execution.
Wow.
He died in 2002. And yeah, that's it.
Why does it take so long for execution?
Because you get, like, a certain number of appeals. Also, I'm not sure, like, how it works, like, picking your execution date, but I know, like, most times I'm going to talk about this in an upcoming episode because this is, like, something that, like, the one I was going to do is, like, touches on the death penalty a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want to talk about that, like, in detail so everyone has, like, a better understanding of it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's, like, a super complicated, expensive process. Basically, the death penalty is really not what we think it is. But.
And is it still, like, lethal injection or...
Currently, yeah, we use lethal injection. I mean, you could still choose to use, like, the firing squad or so. I think there's, like, you can be...
Wait, what is it?
Other things. The firing squad.
What's
like,
that?
Be shot to death.
What the fuck?
Yeah. But I think that there's only been, like, one person do that, or one or two people do that, like, in the U.S. I wrote, like, this paper on the death penalty, and I did a debate on it in my poli-sci class, and I'm personally anti-death penalty, so you'll definitely hear my side on that. But, yeah, it's, like, just super fucked and complicated and expensive and a drain on our system, but an eye for an eye, right?
Yeah.
We gotta kill. We gotta be in control of somebody else's life, I guess. But yeah, that's it. The love slave murders. Charlene and Gerald Gallego. Fucked up evil people.
That's insane. That was a good one.
I know.
That was a really good one. All right, well, I guess it's my turn. Mine isn't very long. Unfortunately, when I was doing my research, it was very hard to find anything, and I'm just assuming it's probably because of the time frame of this. But I still found it pretty, like, interesting and crazy, kind of ish. So
pretty spooky.
Yeah. So first off, I do want to mention that the Netherlands is one of the smallest countries in Europe. And it has a sinister world record, quote, air quote, world record, that has never been matched. So I chose Maria Swanenburg, I hope that's how you pronounce her name, who is also known as Good Me. And Good Me, she got that name.
Me.
Yeah, but it's like good and then M-I-E or something like that. Yeah. And she got that name because she used to, like, take care of, like, sick children, poor children in her, like, neighborhood or whatever.
What a saint.
I know, right? Until she became a Dutch serial killer.
Ooh.
So, yeah. So
two women murderers in this episode. We're
I know,
here for this.
Why I was like, oh, you're doing a woman too. Yay. Okay. So yeah, she was a Dutch serial killer who murdered at least 27 people and was suspected of killing more than 90 people between the years of
Whoa.
1880 and 1883 in Leiden, Netherlands. I hope that's how you pronounce it, Leiden.
That's insane because, like, I thought, like, Andre Chikatilo was, like, killed the most people in that time area, or, like, right after that. But that's a lot of
who's
fucking people,
that?
90 people. I learned about him in my criminal justice class. He's, like, a serial killer. He's Russian, I believe. And
Ooh.
he killed, like, a bunch of kids.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm pretty
I
sure it
wanna
was
look into
kids,
that.
yeah. It's pretty interesting. But yeah, there was like a bunch of kills.
Damn.
Yeah.
But yeah, she murdered these people by arsenic poisoning.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so
such a womanly way to do it.
Yeah, she literally poisoned everyone. She put it in their food and in their drinks and whatever. So she was born on September 9th, 1839, making her a Virgo, just like me. Though I'm not proud of her being a Virgo and being a serial killer because that kind of sounded like I was. But no. But yeah, she was born in Leiden, which is a district in South Holland, Netherlands. She was raised by her mother and father, who were Johanna Dingen and Clemens Swanenburg, and they both were some of the victims that she poisoned.
Wow.
Maria married Johannes van der Linden in 1868 and had 7 children. She had 5 sons and 2 daughters. She had 2 daughters prior to marrying Linden, but they died at a young age. And I couldn't find any information about her children or if she had those daughters with someone else or with him. But anyway, they divorced on January 29th, 1886.
Rip.
It was confirmed that she poisoned at least 102 people with arsenic.
Wow.
Of which 27 died, as I mentioned. During the investigation, there were a total of 90 suspicious deaths, but out of the 90, it was only the 27 that they could, link to her.
For sure.
Yeah. But the problem with that, though, was that there was no conclusive evidence to tie Maria to the deaths, which is why.
Yeah, because it's like in the 1800s, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
They don't have DNA. They don't have like
They don't have fucking
technology.
anything.
They're like cell phone tower ping. She's between 1 and 2. Like, no.
Ping.
Yeah.
But 45 of the survivors sustained chronic health problems after ingesting the poison. So not everybody died. There was 45 survivors. Apparently they were seen like over the next like decade, like running around with their crutches and stuff. Like
Wow.
they were like severely like injured from the poison. But Maria's motive was money, of course. She insured all of her victims before killing them. And
typical.
she had secured most of the insurance policies herself. Her first victims were actually her mother and father.
Whoa. She's like, let's test it out.
Let's test it out with mom and dad.
Yeah.
She killed them in 1880, and that is when she started her killing spree. She was about 40 years old at that time, and she also killed several other family members of hers. She even tried to kill her sister-in-law like 6 different times. Literally.
How did the police like not catch on? Like after there's like somebody's like half their family's dead, you're like, this is a little bit suspicious. Like,
I don't know. I don't know if like maybe they just, even if they like don't tell anybody, maybe that's when nobody knows,
I think like I really have to know more about the 1880 because like,
yeah,
I'm sure police was totally different then. They're like riding around like a horse and carriage. I don't know. They probably had cars then. I'm being so dramatic.
I don't think they had cars in 1800s. They probably had like the horse and carriage.
I don't think they had cars either.
I think cars maybe came out in like the early 1900s or mid. I don't know.
That's a good question. I don't know either.
But yeah, so Swanenburg went the length of marking down her victims beforehand. She said to a man, "It will be your turn in a month," who had been mourning
What?
the sudden death of a relative. So she told a guy that, like, because he was sad that someone, died that he knew.
Yeah, for sure.
And she saw him and she was like, "It's going to be your turn next month," pretty much. And then that month passed and he was carried to his grave.
Shit.
She killed him. During her crimes as a serial killer, she was known to rob the people that she murdered as well. She would kill them in her home or in their home. And then during these years of her murders, she was living with her husband and children.
How do they not know?
I have no fucking clue.
I guess, it's arsenic poisoning is clean.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. Like, she doesn't come home with, like, blood on her hands.
Yeah.
So,
she's like, another day at the office, honey.
She actually never even got to spend a single penny from the insurance money that she received. So I was like, when I read that, I was like, well, that was a fucking,
this is for what?
I know, I was like, it's a waste. But she was caught when she was trying to poison the Frankusen. I ain't got no Dutch accent. I don't know how to pronounce that. Family in December of 1883. She was arrested on December 15th at the age of 44. Her trial began on April 23rd, 1885. So 2 years later, or a year and a half later, at the criminal court of the Hague, and lasted only 2 days. She was convicted on May 1st, 1885. She told the court that she did not intend to kill the victims and confessed. Sure. I know. That's why you took out fucking life insurance policies on them, right?
That's why I fed them arsenic. Like, I wasn't trying to kill them, just severely maim them. And BD,
yeah, she sucks. Stupid. But she did confess to 2 of the last 3 murders. And so she was found guilty of murder of her 3 victims, her last 3 victims, and sentenced to life in prison, where she died from natural causes on April 11th, 1915, at the age of 75 in Gorinchem, in Dutch, correctional facility.
Like, what that place is. What are, like, prisons like there? I wonder.
Well, we should Google it.
Yeah, I really want to know. Also, the car was invented in 1886.
Oh, what?
But I'm sure that was, like, a luxury then. Like, you gotta be real rich. Yeah, for sure. That's luxurious. Like a Tesla.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's actually it. I do have one thing to mention, though. Apparently, she is mentioned in the Guinness Book of Records as the most prolific poison murder of all time.
Whoa.
Yeah, so apparently she's in that.
It reminds me of another case that I've heard about. That's, like, this woman who, like, was this, like, I'm pretty sure she was, like, this wealthy woman, or maybe she wasn't wealthy, but she lived, like, in the middle of some nowhere. Her name was, like, Belle something, and she, like, would, like, invite men to her house and then, like, kill them. I think she had poisoned them.
Fuck yeah.
I don't know. But I'm just like, what? Poisoning people is really kind of not difficult.
It just reminds me of Yzma.
Oh my god. Yzma?
I'm trying to, like...
do, like, an impression?
Yes, I want to do an impression, but I can't think of words that she says.
I don't know, like, you stupid llama.
You stupid llama!
That's pretty
or
good.
Something, I don't know. Oh god, Yzma.
So basically, like, prisons in the Netherlands look similar.
Really? To what?
Oh my god, some of them, like, I just found this one picture and I was like, this looks like a hotel. And then I read the caption and it was like, the Netherlands is turning its empty prisons into hotels. I'm like, wow.
Oh my god. Well, yeah, this was like kind of like a shorter full-length episode.
Our zodiac signs gone bad.
We'll maybe do another one of these sometime.
Yeah, if you guys have, like, any weird themes you want us to do, like, let us know. Because this one was kind of fun. Like, I liked this theme.
Yes. if you guys want themes, tell us your themes. Maybe we'll do like a theme every other full-length episode or something.
Also, send us your Halloween costume pictures. I posted something, like I'll give you something for free if you send me your Halloween costume picture, and it's my favorite one. And I'm just gonna like leave that open-ended for like a couple episodes and just like surprise everybody with that. So I'll post a date that I want that to end, but for in the meantime, I'm just gonna leave it open so we can see everybody dressed up.
Also, if you're the weirdo that keeps emailing us about pee videos, please stop. Like, we already blocked one of the emails before, and then we just got another one, and I blocked that one. So, go away.
Like, we like true crime here. We like ghosts. We don't like water sports. So just don't. Just no. It's not a thing. It's not happening.
Yeah.
But if you want to just give us free money, let us know.
Oh, yeah, you can do that. We'll appreciate that.
We won't have to poison you for it, so win-win, you know?
Exactly.
But yeah, email us, please. Your stories, your mom's story, your sister's story, your estranged uncle story, your dad who went to the gas chamber. Tell us about it. We want to know.
Oh my God. I hate that. I hate that gas chamber. It just reminds me of, the Holocaust.
The worst of all.
Yeah.
So sad. But yeah, Tale of Two Dead Girls. Hit us up at gmail.com.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that's it for this episode 7. It was pretty short, but I hope you guys enjoyed it.
We'll see you on our next Morbid Mini.
And
we'll meet you 6 feet under.